Alright, Tom's back at it again. Not a how-to video today, just here to vent and complain and bitch. This here is Mom's truck, 2002 Dodge Dakota, and she's got the 3.9 liter Dodge Magnum in it, 90 degree V6, which is just like the 3.7 liter PowerTech over there in Theseus, in that they just took the V8 and then cut two cylinders off of it, so it's just wimpy by nature. And today is water pump day. So just got the water pump done, and while I was in here I also got the idler, tensioner idler, not the idler, the tensioner idler done. And hot damn, is this just a pain in the goddamn ass. This entire truck is just a magnificent piece of Chrysler engineering. There is not a single thing on this entire vehicle other than the oil filter that's easy to do. Like, in order to get the belt off, you gotta release the tensioner, and releasing the tensioner invariably either smacks into this cable here for the cruise control, or it smacks into this side of the air cleaner. And if it does that, then you can't get the socket back out, so then you gotta undo it, put the belt back on. That's a whole chore in and of itself. And then when you get that off, you have to fish everything out and around the manual fan. And then when you want to get to the water pump, you got to get the shroud out. And of course, the shroud is held in by 1, 2, 3 10mm studs. It's just sort of hooks in right down there. It's got a clip over there. It's supposed to have another clip down there that doesn't actually work. And then it's riveted in place on the side that has to come out first. Riveted. Luckily, it's only a plastic rivet, so you have to then fish through all of this in here with a pair of dikes and cut this rivet off so that you can rip the shroud out so that you can then get to the water pump. And then, if you want to get the fan off, you got to put a strap wrench on it, and then you got to get a 1 3/8 wrench, which I don't have. My biggest is 1 1/4. And fight it off, but you can't do it while it's in the damn car. And I mean, if you can, then props to you, but it's a nightmare otherwise. You gotta have a really small strap wrench. I don't know how I'm gonna torque that back on. I'm probably just not gonna torque it back on. Call it a day. But yeah, so that's how you get that out. What I did is I just took all of these bolts off of the water pump and then unhooked all the hoses from the water pump, pulled the water pump out, and then just yanked on this and scratched up everything and managed to get it straight out somehow. Don't do that, but that's what I did. And yeah, this guy sucks because he seizes onto this heater hose. That guy's fine, actually. That came off really easy. But then they did this. You see that? That's a radiator hose. Hose right in there. You see all that clearance I have in there? That was a nightmare. Not to get off. It was fairly easy to come off. Luckily, it wasn't too seized in place. I had to get in there with a flathead screwdriver and peel up all around it before it finally gave way and I could run it around there and pop that off. But then to get it back down, because it had pushed itself all the way up in there, I had to go make a hose clamp go getter upper puller downer, which is a fork that I bent over at about a 135 degree angle, then cut off with a hacksaw, and it's just got a nice little lip on there that I was able to reach up and pull it back down. And just getting that on there was fun, while also setting the gasket in place. Oh Lord, and then you gotta get that son of a bitch back on there, which isn't too bad. But the biggest thing I want to complain about with this water pump is this bolt right here. This is like a T60 torque and a 9/16/14 outside. And I don't know if you can see this. If we take this 14 here, physically cannot get it on the bolt because the water pump pulley's in the way. So why would you engineer that? Like, you can't even install it. Why would you do that? You get a wrench in there and you can get 1/12 of a turn. It's absolutely asinine. How are you supposed to? So I'm assuming you're supposed to use this T60. So you're going to rely on that T60 I mean, I'm in Charleston. I don't have rust here. But you're going to rely on that T60 to get that bolt out in a rusty climate? No way, no how. Even if that is grade 8. That's just idiotic. But anyway, I finally got that in there. Only, I don't know what time it even is. But it's probably been 4 hours at this. And I'm still not done because I got to put the fan back on. And this tensioner, I really want to bitch about this tensioner. So this tensioner is held on with one 15 millimeter nut. That's it. It's the only thing holding it on. Seems simple, right? Well, you know where they put the nut? Not on the front. Like they do in the Jeep, they put it on the back. So what do you got to do to get it? You got to take the ignition coil off. And you know how the ignition coil is held on? Two 10 millimeter bolts. Know which side they put the head of the bolt? Did they put it on the side with 4 inches of clearance? No, they put it on the side with 5/8 of an inch of clearance on both sides, and then put it in to a threaded bolt, threaded block. You know, couldn't have made this bracket that much longer and then just reversed it. That would have been so much easier. Nope, gotta save metal on that stamping there. Fucking God. So that's fun, getting that out. Then when you get that out, you have once again 1/12 of a turn on that thing, and it's torqued on from the factory with like 70 foot-pounds of force, so that was fun. And you got to pull up on it. So I'm over here picking up the car on the damn bolt with my 15 millimeter gear wrench. Finally got that out, and got the new one on there at the very least. Oh, that was way too hard. And after I'm done doing all this, I got to get back there and do the distributor. And I got to pull all this out there just to get the I'm not doing the whole distributor. I'm just doing the cap because I'm pretty sure the points are crody. Oh, like hell. Like, what the fuck, Chrysler? Jesus. So anyway, this is really just a PSA. Don't buy one of these 3.9 liter Dodge Magnums. They're a nightmare. Everything up, unless you have a friend who's a mechanic and you really like giving him money, just don't. It's a nightmare to work on absolutely everything inside of this car. Like, it's, oh my Jesus Christ. And stuff breaks on it because it's a Mopar all the damn time. Like, stuff on Theseus, that's fine. Like, there's only the worst thing on the Jeep is the damn oil filter because it's in such a stupid place. But everything else on the 3.7 is pretty dang easy. But everything on here is a damn nightmare. Like, look at this hose. What does this hose do? Comes up over, goes onto a bracket, and then sits on top of the goddamn AC lines. That's great for heat transfer. And like if I had lost that hose clamp or split that hose, I would have to remove this entire assembly and the compressor and the alternator to get in there to get to the bottom of the thermostat to put the hose on, because that's all that hose does, is it connects the thermostat to the water pump. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just take this hose and route it like right there and then put a tap somewhere else for the heater hose? Like, I'm not an engineer, but I'm also not an idiot. Anyway, I'm done bitching. I got a fan to put back on, and I got a distributor to fuck with. One more thing, Jackie. Right in there. You may have been thinking earlier, well, why don't you just take the reservoir out, you dumb fucking smooth-brained, inbred hick? Well, don't pretend I didn't think about that. The only thing with that is if you remove the reservoir, you got to worry about spilling all this. You got to disconnect the sensors from the blue goo, and make sure you don't get blue goo everywhere. But the big thing is it comes off with two 10 millimeter bolts. You know where those bolts are? They're right there. You know what's in front of them? Absolutely goddamn everything, including the reservoir. These two bolts are the only two things holding this reservoir on. And these two bolts, there's absolutely everything in front of them. There is the radiator hose, there is the reservoir, there is the battery, there is the AC lines, there is this sensor for the blue goo. Like, hot hell. Alright, Mom's truck is just the gift that keeps on giving. So, after all of that, I finally got everything together, and guess who sliced an O-ring open? That guy, the inlet tube for the heater hose. So now I'm finally able to dang bleed the thing, and this is what you gotta do to bleed it, unless you have one of them fancy funnels. And I don't know where all of this fluid is going. I just keep pouring about 4 ounces in it, and I guess about 2 ounces in it, and it just keeps sucking it down. It's going somewhere in there. Lord, them hounds are raising hell. So, sheared that O-ring, just sliced one side right off of it, so as soon as I started filling it up, that started bubbling out. So then I went to 3 different stores to find the correct O-ring, and if you're wondering, it is a 1.5 inch internal diameter, 5/8 external diameter, and 1/16 inch wall, which is not a standard one they sell anywhere but the hardware stores that sell just O-rings. So I had to go to an auto parts store, then to Tractor Supply, and then to Ace. Finally found it. Bought 3 of the damn things. And so yeah. And then you see right there, that O-ring, that's a 1.5 internal diameter. I think it's 11/16 external, 3/32 inch wall, and that's just on there as added measure, and it's just shoved down into that chamfer. So yeah, now I'm finally bleeding it. So we're finally done. I already drove it around the block, got it up to temp. Water pump is indeed working, and I'm just gonna keep doing this until it stops. I don't know when it's going to stop. Someone help me. All right, bye. Tom out. Like and subscribe. Do all that jazz. Tom out again. Bye.